Game one of your Monday night doubleheader has come to a close, and unfortunately, an ugly scene unfolded in this one. We will spare you the replay, but a gruesome knee injury to star wide receiver Tyreek Hill. The end of his day, and by all estimations, the end of his year. What's being reported early as a dislocated knee for Hill that will have impact beyond this season for the career of the 31-year-old wide receiver. It's an injury that happens on a night in a win, the first of the season for Miami, 27-21, a winner over the Jets. Back with the guys to assess all that we saw, and I want to start there with the unfortunate scene that played out with Tyreek Hill. It's, as you put it, Ben, the danger of this game is apparent on each and every play, and then you start to look at the ripple effects of an injury of this kind to a player of this caliber at this age, at this point in their contract. How do you make sense of this moment for Hill and the Dolphins?
A lot of questions moving forward for Tyreek Hill and this organization, right? A guy who's 31 years old, obviously track record speaks for itself in this league, but you can kind of just see during the flow of the game, when a guy goes down like that, it almost takes the wind out of your sails a little bit, right? So obviously hoping for the best for Tyreek. You saw the injury. We'll spare you the details, but hopefully for him and the rest of his career, he's able to heal up quick, and we'll see him back out here next year.
It's tough, man, because you could also see here just a high-energy guy, and you could see how the teammates feed off his energy. Mm-hmm. And when you have that type of injury that he had, and when your game is predicated on speed, explosiveness, change of direction, that's what makes him Tyreek Hill. It's almost like you don't want to see what the new version of Tyreek Hill looks like if it's not going to be Tyreek Hill. We've seen other explosive guys have these injuries and it not look the same afterwards, and they're trying to hang on. I just hope we have a medical miracle like we did with Adrian Peterson when he came back and looked better than what he did before. Let's just hope this works out for him medically and he's able to get back out there and be the guy that he was, the future Hall of Famer, prior to this mishap.
Again, early reports, a dislocated knee. He was seen there in an air cast, taken off the field, but being taken underneath the stadium to a local hospital. We saw him in a full-length knee brace. We don't want to read into any of that, but this was a severe knee injury for the 31-year-old Tyreek Hill, who was in the last year of guaranteed money in this contract with the Miami Dolphins. There is an out for the team after this one. That could ostensibly be his last snap as a Miami Dolphin. We don't know what the road ahead looks like, but as you said, wishing for a speedy recovery for the speedy wide receiver in Tyreek Hill. As we move forward with some of what we saw in this game, my eyes go to Mike McDaniel. The play calling, some of the wrinkles, Ben, that he got to here were the hallmarks of what made this team great in years past. What did you like from the play calling out of McDaniel?
Yeah, and we hit it in the open, right? We expected a desperate Miami Dolphins offense in a way tonight, right? 0-3. Needed a spark on offense, needed something to get this season going. I thought it was really interesting the way that he used A-Chain tonight, the way that he got Darren Waller involved in this offense early. And if you're Tua, man, how fun is this to just be able to put the ball up on the back line, know you got a 6'6" Darren Waller up there that's going to go up, make a play, get 2 feet and bounce. And especially now with the injury to Tyreek Hill, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. Even more crucial now for a guy like Darren Waller, Waddle, A-Chain to step up for this offense.
What's fascinating is that if you watch the pregame show, we laid out all of the ways Miami can win this ball game. That's the easy part. Football is not that complicated. It's the predicting of who's going to win the game, i.e. me, is where you get things wrong. But when you look at what this offense looked like with the run game, married with these guys on the outside catching the football, you talked about the big tight end. Now it's probably even more important for them to run the football. And I love how they utilize both A-Chan and also Ollie Gordon. We saw a lot of outside zone with A-Chan. We saw a lot of inside running with Gordon, and both of those guys meshed well. And you was right. It looked like the old Dolphins.
Yeah.
You know, the creativity with the play call, the flip behind the back with Tua, you know, all of those things that got an aggressive defense off balance and off kilter. This is what Miami has to be moving forward, and more so now without a Tyreek Hill. You only have Waddle as a more explosive guy, but they do have some other speedy guys, so they can still get some of the same things they got offensively with Hill out there. But I like the fact that they got back to basics, which is running the football.
Creative ways to get to simple concepts. It's what made that run scheme in San Francisco so exciting for Mike McDaniel when he was the coordinator. It's what's made the good version of the Miami Dolphins so exciting. We see flickers of it tonight, but as you said, Emory, dampened by the injury of Tyreek Hill, the celebration of a first victory here of the season for the Miami Dolphins. For the New York Jets, 0-4, new head coach. You see moments where it does come together, but still very disjointed. And my eyes go to the defensive side of the ball, the inability to tackle or the lack of willingness to finish to the ground. What have you made of the effort there that's almost amplified by the fact that the head coach is defensive-minded?
There's a fine line between aggressiveness and recklessness, and we saw the Jets play on the opposite side of that line tonight because they were super aggressive. They got places fast, but they didn't make a play. It was just a fast either, run through for the running back or a fast catch and break a tackle by the receiver. And they were getting moved off the ball. We're talking about a Dolphins run game that owned the line of scrimmage, which is something you don't normally say about a Jets defensive front. And then when you combine that with the missed tackles consistently, on top of the fact you had an enormous amount of penalties and turnovers. So you had the turnovers on offense. One, you had a great drop to start the game, fumble at the goal line. Then you have, this is the fumble right here, going in for a score. You could lead the ball game right out of the gates and boom, fumble. Then you have the fumble right out of the half. That's another one. This was the fourth down fumble by Justin Fields. So they came at crucial parts of the game. And when you have all of these penalties that killed drives as well, those are hitting yards. This was very undisciplined-like for the Jets.
Emory, I'm going to the first drive. You just hit it. For this Jets offense, they marched the ball down the field on this first drive of the game. We talked about it, right? They got to come out, set the tone early, establish this run game. They cough it up on the goal line. That's deflating for an offense. That's deflating for a team. This Jets offense finished with 3 fumbles and just against a team like the Dolphins, who Tua played really well tonight, efficient. They took care of the ball on that side of the ball. For the Jets, too many self-inflicted penalties, too many turnovers. Got it going there late, but a little too little, a little too late. So they'll go back to the drawing board, and they're going to have to find ways to finish some of these games.
We saw a lot of what, Emory?
I was going to say, yeah. you could see where this is the inexperience of a head coach, right? Because as bad as they played, right, they fought back, they got themselves, they got the score. Now you get to stop. When you look at the timeouts, you're like, wait, they don't got one timeout, which brings to the point that they use those timeouts in bad situations in the second half to where now you need them to help win the ball game, and you don't have it.
Becomes the third head coach to start his Jets head coaching tenure 0-4. Got to find one soon, or else those alarms are going to start sounding. I want to talk about the quarterback with our quarterback here, Justin Fields. We've come to know what he is capable of, the high highs and sometimes the low lows, but you're looking at 20 of 27 for 226, 2 total touchdowns, a 43-yard touchdown run. He did cough one up. It's still high variance, but can you win with a quarterback that plays that way? We've seen the flashes of excellence, but still lacking in the pass game at times.
I think there is. I think you can win with a guy like Justin Fields and a playmaker like this, right? I think for Justin Fields, a guy that myself personally, I didn't have that type of skill set. So there's only certain things that I can do within the course of a game, right? Justin Fields has this unbelievable physical, athletic ability. So for him to go out there, he's going to have to play with inside himself every single week, control what he can control. But you could see it tonight, the athleticism, the playmaking, that 4th and 1 that broke down. He scrambles to the right, all of a sudden hits the whirly bird and goes up the left sideline untouched for 45 yards. So that's the kind of big playability that you're going to get with Justin Fields. You got to make sure that the lows, we got to raise those so the highs can be
Emory,
good.
We're talking about 5 years under his belt, a third franchise where he's trying to make it work. Some of the inefficiencies in his quarterbacking still apparent in the way that he works through repetitions, but the high-end stuff is still there. The throw to Garrett Wilson that called back on the questionable pass interference, the throw to Garrett Wilson later in the game, trusting his guy to go up and make a play. Are you seeing development, and where do you want to see more?
You see the development in how he's protecting the football in terms of the passing, right? He never was a high interception guy, but at least you're not seeing the ball be put in bad spot. He had one play where it was funny because the broadcast talked about make a smart decision, and he threw it right where the guy was covered, almost was an interception, but you haven't really seen that. What you like about Justin Fields is that he has great mental toughness, great athlete, he has the physical tools to be successful, and you want him to be able to utilize those skill sets to go with the vertical game. But playing the short, get the ball in your hands quickly, timing routes, those are not where he's having the most success. He's never been that guy. And I think that you got to meet somewhere in the middle. Okay, are you going to be a power run guy coming off play action, deep shot guy, or are you going to be an air raid guy with all vertical shots, or are you going to try to force a square peg in a round hole and have him play with timing, consistent accuracy, consistent placement? Then you're going to have those inconsistencies because no one has ever been able to figure it out. Last time we saw it be consistent was Ohio State.
His and Aaron Glenn's Jets tenure starts 0-4. Their next opportunity at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Gentlemen, thank you for the insight as always as we take a look here at those slow starts in Jets franchise history. 0-4.
I know that's not Lou Holtz.
That is Lou Holtz. 1976. Adam Gase more recent. Now Aaron Glenn in 2025. Stumbling out of the gate, but maybe signs heading in the right direction. Got to find one. Got to find one soon.